All right, Leigh. Tell me about
Mm.
Bloodstained. What is going on with Symphony of the Bloodstained?
It finally came out, is what's going on. After
Right.
I think it's like 4 years now. What, 5 years? 4 years? I think it's been going.
It's been a while.
Um, yeah. So it's come out and it's left off really from where kind of the Igarashi, the kind of the designer Igarashi's set of Castlevania, kind of that Metroid style going around as opposed to the fairly linear old school Castlevania. That kind
Mm-hmm.
of open up
Uh, it well, it's
various.
the lineage of where Castlevania turned into Metroidvania.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's kind of taken from that, and it's taken little things from all those sort of things. Like there was a kind of the more handheld era, which I kind of went to after Symphony of the Night. So it's like elements of Portrait of Ruin, stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that, walking around the levels through paintings and stuff like that. There's a lot more kind of extra missions you can do as well. You can actually go to people to pick missions up at a hub. You have a hub where all your people are, and you can craft stuff. All the
Mm-hmm.
things you pick up. There's a lot more heavily into crafting and stuff like that.
Oh,
To
it's a
make new
game that came out in
weapons.
2019, so it has to have crafting.
I know. I ain't saying nothing. I ain't saying nothing. But yeah.
So is there like a quest log? Is there like a
Yeah, yeah. You
yeah?
can do the quest in any way you go, and it could be places right at the beginning, all over this place, and they're kind of go and find my husband. He got lost going to do this thing, and then fight 10 of these things to get the bird, and then you go, hey, you got something.
Okay.
So
Is
it
it
kind of opens
worth
up a little more.
like
Yeah,
going after those things? Is the rewards
yeah,
worthy?
yeah. It's pretty worthy. Yeah, you get an extra weapon or extra clothes. Obviously, it's got that thing from Symphony with the keep adding new clothes and your
Okay.
yeah.
Like
So
yeah,
that kind of
the armor
RPG
sets and
style
stuff like
thing.
that.
Yeah. So the weapons are pretty good. There's some cool extra stuff in there. It's cool like little weird 8-bit things you can get going on in there. Take it back to the real old school type
Mm-hmm.
things. That's at least eggs. It's turned out pretty well. Yeah, I really like it. I think some people have been having issues further in with like bugs and stuff, but I've not come across those yet.
Yeah,
But
I've heard some things like that, and like some performance issues, especially on the Switch version.
yeah,
Have you run?
yeah.
What are you playing on Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox. Yeah, I've been
Okay.
playing the Xbox. I've not really run into much at all, to be honest with you. None of
Okay.
those sort of issues. Um, yeah, I like it. It's the creature designs are good and interesting. It's quite grim
Mm-hmm.
and kind of that you want. That got that gothic kind of Hammer horror thing you want from it.
Yeah.
It's turned out quite well. I think it's kind of it's basically it's Symphony like with all kind of the dull bits. Because let's be honest, there are some dull bits in Symphony of Night.
Yeah. Okay.
Ironed out a little bit and kind of streamlined. Everything's streamlined and kind of tightened up, and the combat's nice and slick now, and it's not as maybe heavy sometimes as Symphony of the Night could be.
Is it easier to swap your armors and weapons in and out?
No, it's still as clumsy as it ever was. You still have
Re-
to go in to take it off, to put another one in, to use that, to use this. Yeah.
really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh
There's
man.
no kind of. I've not got to the point where I can. They've taken away the two-hand thing, is what they have done.
Oh okay.
Where if
So
you
you
had a
can't have like
one-handed
a
weapon, you
shield and
can.
a sword.
You can have a shield, but you can use a shield as a weapon. But it's
Oh.
that to and fro of kind of. Do you want to risk throwing out your weapon and using your weapon without taking a hit while you're free from it because there's nothing else to protect you and stuff like that. Tons of different
Okay.
wits with different elements on it and stuff like that. But yeah, I would recommend it definitely if people are into that kind of because it's kind of coming back. It's come back as a more of a kind of a cutesy type thing, I think, or a kind of melancholy type thing. This Metroidvania with your Auris and your Hollow Knights and
Uh.
stuff like that.
Yeah. I guess so. Like. Yeah. I mean that's it's a
Mm,
pretty common thing in the indie space for them
mm,
to take on for games in
yeah,
general to take on this kind of formula. It's like how I
yeah,
joked about crafting. It seems like every game
yeah,
is either a roguelike or Metroidvania, or some combination of the two.
This
Which is a
definitely calls back to that kind of grim dark 90s type thing.
Right.
It calls back
And
to
like,
that sort of thing.
so like, you know, you could obviously Metroid's the original, and then Symphony of the Night was the one that Castlevania'd the formula. Does it feel like it's a little worn out now that there's so many of them coming out, or does it feel fresh?
No, I think it feels fresh purely because of the setting. I think it's gone back to that cool thing. It's not doing the pixel art style of that thing, because you get the same sort of kind of that darker edge with something like a Dead Cells, don't you? Kind of the more kind of moody edge. But it freshens it up with the graphical style and stuff like that, so it doesn't feel like it's trying to be that throwback. It feels more of a modern platformer. So,
Okay.
Belmont-tastic.
Oh wow, really?
Mm.
Are there any? What's the main character's name?
Lilith, I think.
Lilith.
I think something like Lilith. Yeah, I'm sure it's something like Lilith. I can't remember.
So what's Lilith spelled backwards?
Htilil. Htilil. Oh.
Ooh, what does that mean? What is this?
Steady on.
Yeah.
Steady on. Should we move on?
Actually, I wanted to talk really quick about how it was a Kickstarter, which this is usually when Kickstarter games are in the news, it's either they've just launched or they've failed miserably. So it's nice to have one that's succeeded, because it's this game's getting good reviews. It's been definitely received well from fans. And you said about how it was like took so long to make. And I feel like in the case of Kickstarter games, we kind of get this glimpse into how long it actually takes to make video games. Because like with a normal game that would be, say, like announced on E3 a couple of weeks ago, those games have been in development already for several years, maybe even. And so we don't get the whole like extended schedule, whereas with a game like a Kickstarter game like this, we know about it before it's even been started to be created. So like with a lot of these Kickstarter games where we look at it and be like, wow, that took forever to make, it's like, oh, maybe that's actually how long games take to make. And I guess, I mean, you can see the result here. It pays off in the end, I guess. I'm just looking to, hopefully they iron out some of the performance things on the Switch, because that's the version that I want to pick up eventually.
Yeah, it would be a no-brainer on the Switch. I think it's definitely that on the go type thing.
Yeah,
but,
and I like the side scrollers on the Switch too.
Yeah, that's where I want to get it when I pick it up.
Yeah, but as you were saying about the Kickstarter thing and like the bad stories of the Kickstarter, it's interesting to notice that this was from the time when when the Superstar kind of ex Capcoms and Konami people were going off on their own.
Yeah,
and this was around the same time as Mighty Number 9. It was the same sort of Kickstarter period.
Yeah,
and it just goes to show you maybe it's better to hang on. Because look at the shit show that was compared to it. They're both the same level of people.
Yeah,
with the same sort of clout to get the other developers in that they want to, but
it can go either way for sure. I think Mighty Number 9 was before this, though, if I remember correctly. So I think they had about the same amount of time in the oven, so to speak.
Oh wow, I thought it was the same time. Oh, my bad.
I don't think so. I remember this coming, like this one coming off at least sometime after the Mighty Number 9 thing. So I think, luckily it didn't come out, they didn't launch it after Mighty Number 9 came out, because people would be like, hey, look what happened to the last one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. I'm glad that ended up being a decent game.
a banger, as they say.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us in this very special episode of Voxel Viewpoint. If you'd like to hear or see more, please consider subscribing to us on your favorite podcast app, subscribing to us on YouTube, or visiting voxelvoice.com, where all of our great content comes together in one place. Also check out the Voxel Voice Facebook group, where you can join in on the discussion with a great, like-minded community.